questions, advice, connections, mentorship, whatever you have to give. At the end, we will ask them the all-important question: what can we, as a community, do to help grow their business? That is their turn to ask us for something, ask us for whatever they want. $1 million, I didn't bring mine today, maybe one of you has. Customers, always a good one. Employees, connections, things like that. We do appreciate them. We could not do this event without the hard work and diligence of our organizing team. JJ Roberts, who brought the coffee today. God bless you for that, sir. Marianne Bowers. Hi, Marianne. 15 other people who are in the room right now. Hello, 15 other people. My name is Sean Kennedy. I also would like to thank Carly. Carly is responsible for this wonderful email you guys get every week. There is an email that tells you who will be presenting. There is an email that tells you who did present, give you contact information for them, tell you a little bit about what their ask is, how you can help them out, and go over a recap of the events we talked about here during the middle portion of the show. And then most importantly, of course, I would like to thank Cala Coffee. Without that, my eyelids would absolutely be closed right now. So thank you, Cala Coffee. We appreciate that, and I encourage you on non-Wednesday mornings to purchase their fine products. But I would like to start by kicking it over to my good friend Sherry Cecina, who's going to give us an update on everything she's accomplished on Rescue Ray. Sherry.
Okay, and I want to introduce this to Stephanie Smallwood. She's my first employee, guys, so I'm moving right along, so we can give her a round of applause. In this presentation, and she's just really amazing. I really got the cream of the crop here, so this is wonderful. So today we're going to do an update on rescue writing. If you remember what I'm going to give you a little bit of a refresher. My philosophy is before you write a book, you have to first write a story. And I wrote my first story when I was about 9 years old, and it was published, and it kind of set me off. I'm an author. I've written 5 books, and I love the written word. I love teaching the written word. I love writing the written word. I love everything about it. So what I had was a great idea of creating an online teaching tool that we would provide to teachers for free that would give them a collection of stories written by the kids in their class. And so what I would do is I thought, well, we needed to create themes, and so we created the first theme from pets, because that would be the easiest one probably to monetize with somebody. There's so many pet food companies and so on and so forth, so that would be an easy way to monetize that. So our job is to provide these web-based tools, secure donors and sponsors, and then offer these various thematic story writing tools. This is what I came with last time. So again, as you know, we're doing an update. But what I came with was wireframes. And I had this idea, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I was kind of creating this in my head, what I thought it would look like. And I had a really talented person help me with these wireframes. And it ended up that I needed to really, what I learned is I needed to divide the website, kind of the sales tool, from the publishing tool. And the publishing tool became a very, very big thing. What I did when I went out with these wireframes to present them to various website companies, developers and designers, I realized that it was the minimum price I got was $75,000 to do this, and it went up to about $250,000 to do this. And then it might not even work. And the other thing is I'm hiring somebody to solve my problem, and I'll have to continue to employ them and pay them forever, and I'm at the effect of them, so that was never going to work for me. Ultimately, it doesn't really work in a startup to be in a situation like that. So what we did was we worked with this really great company called Think Tank, and they're back here. And they developed my front-end software. And that was, we worked with WordPress, which is an off-the-shelf website. And so we wrote this, they put it together, they made it work, and we have our whole operating website now. So anybody who wants to do kind of anything with regard to this project, they can do it now through our website. So the most important aspect of this was developing these pages. Again, this is a wireframe. And so we needed so that teachers could actually offer this to their students and say, write a story about your cat, your favorite animal, whatever it is. If you don't have a pet, it could be a dragon, it could be a rock. Think about Lassie or somebody like that. It could be anybody. And so we needed to figure out how to do that. And what we did was we ended up having a very talented named Mike Weiss devise these various templates. So all these templates, and you can just speed through them. This is a cat, and then a dog, bird, different. All these templates are available on our website to download, and then we tell them how many words, like 150 words or 250 words that will go in here. So they put their photos up there, and then they have also a place here. It's where a sponsor can go. So if you happen to sell like pet pellets here for a rabbit, a sponsor can actually sponsor this page. So it's kind of the model of a magazine or something like that. Let me just go back to that. So what happens is they can download these pages and we have a teacher assignment on there, tell them what to do, how to brainstorm this and that. We also have created some videos, which I'll get to in a second, because one of my visions was having high-profile people tell the stories and work with us and give their writing storytelling tips. So we have a thing now, if a teacher wants a classroom to be sponsored and they want to do this in their classroom, they just sign up, tell us a little bit about your class, and so on and so forth. If you want to sponsor a class, you can go on here. Again, thank you to Think Tank who put together this e-commerce platform for it. You can sponsor a classroom for $99. You can sponsor just a book for $35, and you can request a donation. You can make a donation. We have a social media. We have like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. We have Instagram, Pinterest, and Google. And I wanted to show you, Byron Pitts did a video for us from ABC News. It's also 60 Minutes. And I wanted to show you a quick clip, just a couple seconds. Can you hear it? We meant to go back to the beginning, because I want you to see our open, that it's really ours. It wasn't just what we stole. See, we have this really great videographer named Sean Keller, who put this together for us.
If you watch this, how do you write a great story? Well, I think it starts with a great opening line, a great opening sentence. Consider this. It's like if you want to take...
That's enough. It goes for about a minute and a half. We got a bunch of these videos. We have a whole bunch of generic with the value of story writing, history, storytelling, that sort of thing up on our website as well. Last week we participated in Give Day Tampa Bay. We raised $7,000, which gives us the opportunity to launch in 70 schools. And so we're going to do our test market product during the summertime with some classrooms beginning of the fall or end of the summer, and then launch nationally right after just as school starts this year. So we're very excited. Do you have a question? Do I have any more minutes? So, do I have questions now?
Yes.
Okay. Did you have a question?
Yes, so you say you have sponsors, so is this a for-profit or not?
It is a social enterprise. Technically, the structure is this. I own the license. What I've done is I've licensed software. I personally own that license. I am licensing it to my nonprofit company. And my nonprofit company is Creative Rescue Writing. So I own the license, I own all this product, and I'm licensing this thing to my nonprofit. Yes?
Do you have any plans or interest in introducing things like STEM, STEAM?
It's possible. I have to look for what will be monetized. What I'll probably do next is baseball. And have worked with Major League Baseball. I wrote 2 books about the National Football League and NFL in the past, and did very well with writing sports stories. So we go after what kids want, not what adults want kids to want. So, if they're interested in that, if we have someone like Mobil Oil or someone like that who wants to underwrite this, then we will do that.
How did you overcome, you said that it was going to cost $75,000 to $200,000
Yeah.
to actually build your technology? How'd you do it?
Well, that's a great story. I started looking at all of this, and it was just it just got bigger and bigger, and really overwhelming because this project, at the end of the day, I'm going to be competing with someone like Shutterfly, right? Because ultimately, these are the books. This is a Shutterfly book, and so and someone has to actually print these things. So it isn't just developing it. I have to interface with a printer, and so what's that look like? Like, who prints these Canons, or who is it who owns this process to actually bind these and do on-demand one-out printing? Like, this is one book. You know, if you do 100 books, it's a different type of printing. And so, or 1,000 books. So what I did was I just, I said, well, I'm not so sure I can actually afford to do this. And so I just said, I'm just going to go to Shutterfly. And I said, well, who is it at Shutterfly? And I Google searched it, and I found people who knew somebody from LinkedIn, and I found somebody to introduce us. And went to New York City, White Plains, and met him. And he said, that's a great idea. I thought, what I thought was, I'll be a division of Shutterfly. And I'll have a little entrepreneurship within Shutterfly. This is my great idea, right? And then he says, that's a great idea. He says, but we don't really do R&D. So basically, once you've done everything like this, we'll probably buy your company, but chances are, we're not going to invest in it. And I said, well, so who actually just develops the software? Who does that? He goes, well, I'll introduce you to our guy, because if we do actually buy your company, the integration will be seamless. He introduced me to the guy who developed their software, and he became my technology partner. He has 35 people working for him in England, and their job is to keep me up to date, relevant, and operating and on the leading edge of all technology forever.
So you never have to do it yourself?
Never. It's perfect. I have a portal that says build your book now, and it will lead into that, which I'm building out that aspect of it now. Just really the design, just mechanics are already there. So, yeah.
Is it designed so that each child gets a copy of the book, or it's only one book per classroom when they're finished with college?
The sponsored classroom is a teacher who gets a book.
Okay.
They then will tell the parents. The parents will buy those books for their grandparents, the friends and family, and so on and so forth. After about 10 are bought, they have enough profit to redo it again next year. The profits are regenerated back into the classroom. So that teacher, if they sell this year's book, they get next year's for free. They don't have to get a sponsorship. So it's a regeneration. That's a social enterprise by definition. Yes.
Where exactly does all the money come from? Is it solely sponsorship, or the school pay, parents pay, teachers pay?
Whoever wants to pay can pay. Anybody here who sponsor your child's classroom. That's the best thing about it, is it isn't some underprivileged child somewhere. It's your kid's classroom. That's what's so great about it. It could be literally anyone for $99 can sponsor a classroom. It could be Petco, who will probably sponsor about 1,000 to 5,000 classrooms. Friskies. So we have a way of doing contests on here. So if Friskies wants to develop more of their social media, it's called repurposing the content. So we're developing original content, and then we'll repurpose it. We'll then resell it to Friskies if they want to do a writing contest on how to grow big and strong like your pet, and they want to give away a size chart, all those things you can buy. I can buy all of those things because my software allows me to print on metal or wood or whatever. So we can do those contests with any of these companies at all to create content that's unique to their product offerings that they can then regenerate into their websites or into their social media or in their marketing campaigns.
So if a classroom can't get a sponsor, do they just have luck, or is there another
Well,
option?
we generate the sponsors. So they solicit it, we will have, like Petco, we'll have those kind of sponsors all over the place. So, yeah.
With all those different constituencies, how do you focus your sales and marketing efforts? You have corporate sponsors, school systems, teachers.
We don't sell to school systems. That's a bag of tricks that you really don't want to open. It's, pedagogical studies, and it's just a nightmare. So teachers are grown-ups, you know, they can decide if they want to do, it's a writing exercise. We're not selling something, do you know, that they have to, like Crest toothpaste does something where you have to, you know, do it with Crest toothpaste, you know. This is just, it's just an ad on there. They don't have to buy Friskies, they don't have to do anything like that. We don't sell, if a school system independently wants to purchase from us, they can do that. We will not be soliciting school systems. We are, however, working with various preferred vendors of school systems like Scholastic and Pearson Educational Products. So we are going to be working with them as far as developing our distribution systems and working with teachers unions and other groups, large groups of teachers and educators.
I think it's important that they understand that in addition to going after the Petcos and the Friskies and the PetSmarts, that on a local basis, in communities, your banks, your business, your local businesses, everybody's got employees that have kids in schools around their business and their enterprise. So that like a Wells Fargo that might be in South St. Pete, they could actually, and they have some funds available to support schools that their employees have kids in.
Yeah.
So it can go all the way down to such a local community where people can support the schools that they might have an interest in.
Yeah, that's a good example. Wells Fargo is one of our sponsors, and they'll be sponsoring, they each get $1,000 per grant, and they're going to be sponsoring 10 classrooms in like South St. Pete, for example. That's it, you know, but Wells Fargo nationally could also do this. It could, we work with locally, we got a matching grant from Sherlock Solutions, which is a local business support company, organization, nonprofit here, that has a foundation that gives us a $5,000 grant to do matching funds with. And so, and there's more and more of those. It can be the local veterinarian. You know, there's a cat hospital in South Pasadena. They can sponsor the cat pages. You know, so there's a lot of ways, a lot of potential revenue streams for us in this. Yes.
I had a couple questions. First, so I haven't get to see your first presentation, but the software itself helps you. So the child creates a story, or the classroom creates a story, right? So you're just providing a template for the story?
Yeah, the
or-
templates. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like these.
You're actually doing the writing.
Yeah.
Story. Yeah.
Sure. This is an example of one. This is the problem was with Shutterfly, all you can do is make this a PDF to convert to a JPEG and upload a giant photograph. What I've done with the software is we can now just put this whole thing is this the whole page as opposed to a giant photo, which is the big border around the page, which was a big distinction.
There's another thing that popped into my head because I know when my kids are little, we were always trying to like kind of keep them busy in the summer. We would have like a 2-hour, session where they had to do certain things. They thought it was, they would tell their friends it was 8 hours boot camp, but yeah. And so I'm thinking, parents are always struggling on what to do. So we thought about just reaching parents in the summer, even daycare centers, those kinds of things.
Yeah, the delivery mechanism for us initially with parents is we will be working with homeschoolers because they already are set up for that whole process and have a requirement to meet. And then there's just regular parents. And so the thing is that Shutterfly and Photo Barn and Photobook and all, and PicMix and all those, and there's so many of these, they all going after everybody, do you know? And to reach, what we're doing is something completely different. It's the same exact product though. You see, we're just reaching a different audience. Because if you go to Shutterfly, like what I did, they have a great product. I have the same printer, with the same printer that prints Shutterfly, prints mine. And we can, but we have created so many unique pet templates and pet, they're called assets, these little scrapbook pieces that go on that anybody wants to write a story about their pet, which is the #1 thing people do stories about, by the way. That and travel and weddings. So those are the markets, and so that's who those people are all trying to get. The Mother's Day things, you probably if you ever don't know that you got a Mother's Day thing, and now they're like, don't forget, you have those waited from givers for Mother's Day. Because nobody prints photo books except for November and December, because they give them for holiday gifts. You see, so we're actually going to have a 3-cycle year. The printer loves that. We get better price for that because we're going to be cycling all year.
What's the age group that this is targeted?
Right now, it's third, fourth, and fifth grade, 8, 9, and 10-year-olds. But it will be literally anybody. The way our software is set up, if you just wrote a story and just have the books, you just populate it. Just like they do on Apple Books now, just it's pre-done, all those preset templates. You can also do something in between where you can take our cats, our dogs, and make your own page. So you have a cat and a dog, you have a story about both of them and their interaction with each other. You can do that, or you can have a blank page. That's really intimidating, you know, blank page. So you can create that and you can write a story about literally anything you want. Yes?
Going on the pet theme, I think it'd be a great tie-in with local no-kill animal shelters. That oftentimes are kids, I'm involved with Friends of Strays, and we have Girl Scout groups that come in that already want to do a project related, and they may do a fundraising drive, but it might be an activity that they can do as a group or school project will pick us as a pet project, and they can do a tie-in along those themes, especially if people aren't writing about their pet, they're writing a project awareness about the need to adopt and stay in or something like that.
Yeah, well, one of the things with the Petco Foundation is they fund about $40 million a year on these pet shelters and ASPCA, the Humane Society, you name it. They will be reaching out and providing that for them for their use and let them determine how to do it. For me to find these and try to figure that, oh my God, that's like, you know, I just can't do that. I can offer the suggestion to them how to do it. Stephanie and I can do that, you know, because we don't have 150,000 people to figure out every one of these. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's a great idea. But
When the animal shelters apply for a Petco Foundation scholarship or a grant, then it would be an option they could choose.
absolutely, that would be what the plan would be. And there's also called the Pet Care Trust, and they do. All they do is give schools food for pets in the classroom. You can imagine the nightmare that's going to be at the end of the summer. Who gets the hamster, right? So, so they're looking to provide what they do with those resources, and we're going. It's going to be, let's just write about pets instead. Yeah, instead of kill them. Gee, Dick, they're going to ask a hard question. You have that hard question.
Colleague of mine is principal of one of those 5 lowest performing schools in Pinellas County. Can you help me, what objections might he have when I try to describe this? What have you learned as you do this? Help me anticipate what objections the principal of a local school might have.
Well, you know, I created this thing so, of course, I think it's perfect and there's no problems. No, I mean, the only issue is, do you have access to technology? And everybody somewhere does, even in the public library. I mean, there's always some way to get this. This is a in the cloud product. And it could go from anywhere or do anything. We could make a PDF of it and send it to the friends and family so they can see, you know, Joey's stories on page 7, you know, and they can buy it. I mean, we provide the tools for the teachers. You know, we're working with Pointer to develop unique products with them, with Pointers to the teachers to professional journalism, to provide teaching capsules, teaching modules just for classrooms for people to get additional training in the summertime, whatever those credits need. And so, you know, there's a lot of those things. So we're really 100% supportive of the teacher process. And we're giving it to the school. You know, if they have a problem with that the teacher needs to sell it to parents, well, I mean, they might have a problem with that. People have to come to school. You stand on the corner and give out $100 bills, someone's going to have a problem with that. I mean, you know, what do you do, right? So I don't know. Trying to make it so that it really is the solution for everybody. Question?
Yeah, I'm seeing 2 things. One is website and being able to write stories and do pictures and things like that, and then I see the book. Are they separable? In other words, could a teacher just take and utilize this program to encourage more writing, etc., without doing the book, or?
Yes, you can. You can write. Yeah, that's one of the things. That's one of the things that I really wanted is that, because if you want to go back to one of the templates, if we can, we can't necessarily know how to back up. You did know how to go forward. But, so if you go on here on this template, see, your kid could go on this for free right now and download this and figure this out. I think we're working on still getting this to have text here, replace the text. and put the pictures in. But this, if it's sponsored by Friskies or whomever,
You need to keep your distance.
oh, is that what I did? Yeah, just screen. Okay, it would still, you would print this out, and it would be your kid's story, and it's on the refrigerator, and it still has Friskies up there, or Petco, or, you know, the animal rescue program, or whatever, it still has them up there. So, we're complete. You see, these guys are the ones who are paying for and allowing for this to operate. And then the book, they end up with that book where it's somewhere around here. You know, on the back will be a giant logo of Petco or whoever it is, the sponsor of that classroom. Everyone, you sponsor a classroom. You too can have your name and logo on the back. It could be a gift of the Smith family or whoever, it could be, or your little business, whatever it is, on the back of that book. You get 5 cycles. So if the teacher regenerates it, you still get 5 cycles. So there, you know, it keeps regenerating each benefit to you. Yeah.
I just saw the book, and one thought I had is that there's not much writing on the page, there's a lot of pictures. So since you do a competition for picture books, have you thought about increasing the amount of writing that's on
But
it?
that's 100% of what we're doing. That's exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
That was the problem with that book.
Okay.
That was the problem with, just so you understand, the photo book business is because nobody gets pictures anymore, right? And so Kodak and Fujifilm, who's the primary player, had a big problem with that. Nobody's printing, so they started working with Canon and the camera people to create these. How do you do on demand? What do you do? How do you find it? Someone created that process of this on demand printing, and so it's a response to the fact that nobody's doing photo albums anymore, photo pictures, and they just don't do that. So you go in themes as people go on vacation, they go whatever, and so where were those pockets of activity around photographs? And so then they figured out how to do thematic books, but it's all photographs with captions. Hardly any words. And so I'm like, well, I'm an author, and every single person I've ever sat next to on an airplane is also an author or has a story that I should write for them. Well, I guess while we're flying, I'm not sure, but I should be doing it, that they have a great story. Well, I want them to write their own story, because the truth is their story is about this long, in reality. That's really how the story is. And then they can write 20 of them, and give it to their kids or whatever, so.
There was also a study that came out, just Michael Hyatt's blog, who I follow, and where, and I don't know, buddy daddy, so I'm still reading paper books, but there was a study that came out that you comprehend more, so you have to find that. I forget who did the study, but
Yeah.
I was like, yay.
They know that. People know that. The thing is, love letters like from Ronald Reagan and Nancy, all that handwritten stuff. We're not going to have digital. We're not going to be able to recapture this whole generation. So they're going to need this. They need their stories. They need their lives recaptured and the moments of their lives captured in these stories. And when you're having so far, this is the thing you run in to get. I mean, this is the yearbook. We didn't get one of these when we were in 5th grade. We only got the thing when we were in our 12th grade here, right? Sean, do you have a question?
How can this engaged and energized community help you go to Rescue Ready?
Well, I'm interested in, if you want to do classroom sponsorship, I have a square. So we can do that today. If you were to go on our website, or if anyone has any connections with anyone that might be interested in working with us in either sponsoring a classroom, or if you know any teachers or we want teacher groups, not a teacher, because then we can't follow a teacher. We call it a teacher group. And so, like, if anyone is affiliated with the Pinellas school system, this sort of thing, we're looking to reach out to those people, meet with them, let them make it available to their teachers, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
Well, again, thank you all for coming out this morning. So normally I come up here and talk about events. They're all over here, wonderful events that you guys get a part of. If you're on our mailing list, you will get links to every single one of those events. But I'm actually up here to ask you guys for a favor. So as organizers for 1 Million Cups, the biggest thing that we struggle with are finding very unique startups to come and present.
So if you guys know a friend or of a company that you think might have some interest, we take people from concept stage all the way up to 3 years in business. So you don't have to have a website and social media. You know, we can come and help you form that opinion of what you want that company to be and you know, how we can help give you feedback. So if you know of anyone you think might be a good presenter, please have them come see any of us organizers. It's a free, simple, painless process, and we've got a lot of past organizers in here that can at least validate that. And the good part is, once you present here, you have the option to present at any of the 70 other locations that 1 Million Cups is a part of. So if you have other demographics you want to get involved with, 1 Million Cups is a very easy way to get plugged in very quickly to the startup community. So again, please, if you guys know of anyone, please send them our way. We're happy to educate them on the process and what's all involved. So again, all the events will be linked up at our email later this week. But next up, please give a warm round of applause for Tyler with Optimal Backing.
So I'm going to go old school. I'm not even going to use a PowerPoint. So.
All right.
Well, good morning. My name is Tyler Carlson. About 5 years ago, I was a freshman at Florida State University. I was the youngest hire at the gym on campus, and the next semester was a dream come true. I spent my day talking with really cool people. I was a part of some incredible physical transformations, and I even got paid for it. So one Tuesday morning, I called my coworker Corey to let him know that I'm on my way to pick him up for work. He doesn't answer his phone. I try him again. He doesn't answer his phone. I call him a third time. No answer. Decided to get in my car and go bang on his door. After banging on his apartment door, I realized that he was hungover and he had slept through my phone calls and my alarms. Nevertheless, we arrived on campus at 6:15 in the morning, just 15 minutes late, and only 15 minutes before the gym even opened. So after apologizing to our supervisor, we continued on like nothing had happened. So about a week later, I got called into the office with the director. The director told me that I was being fired because I was late. Here I was thinking I did the right thing by covering for my friend, but it made me lose my job. Frustrated, I decided to start my own company. I started selling vintage hats. The company itself was a failure, but the lessons that I learned from it were priceless. I went on to sell study guides. And to make a long story short, I met the founder of the study guide website and was a part of the roller coaster ride of selling a business. So here I am today, more excited than ever for the product that I'm about to show you. So we all know what it's like to change the trash, right? You go underneath the sink, you open up the cabinet, you rip off a bag, you fumble with it, you figure out which side's the opening, you lick your fingers, you finally get it open, you shake it in, you stuff it in your can, and whatever's been in there just comes whooping right into your face. This is how it's supposed to be done. All you do is peel, hang them in your can, stick. I'm going to try to hold it up. So
Put it on the table.
So all I'm going to do is pull.
Did you say sticks?
And hangs and sticks, yes ma'am, just like that. I'll save that for the question and A because I'll paint the picture for you. So this bag is now open, ready to go. No shaking required. The air goes all the way down to the bottom, so you're not having to stuff your hand in there, and so you're saving time. So over the last 2 months, I've sent over 2,000 tweets, sent about 800 emails, and I spent countless hours folding these bags. Each bag takes about 20 minutes to hand fold, so it's been quite the effort. Despite all these efforts, we're still only 15% towards our goal on Kickstarter. And that's why I'm here today. I need y'all's help to really spread the word, to get feedback, and to really take this to the next level. So I decided to keep it short because I wanted to get some feedback and some interaction with you guys, so I'll open it up to questions. Yes, ma'am.
What mill sizes do you have? Are these mainly for offices?
Yes, ma'am. So to give you kind of a little background, initially we were focusing on the commercial application because it's essentially a time cheat. Time is money, as we all know.
Right.
And so we focused on, the restaurant, your 55-gallon, which are about 0.5 to 0.7 mils. And we decided, I got a call from a big executive with American Building Maintenance, who does gobs of garbage bags every day, and he wanted to know how much for 10 million bags, how much for 20 million bags, how much for, and I was like, okay, let's take a step back and let's make sure we got this product perfectly. So we decided to launch with the consumer market and went to One Spark up in Jacksonville, where we won our category and we won $15,000. So these bags right here are 13-gallon bags with 0.7 mil thickness, and so your industry standard is about 0.4 to 0.6. If that answers your question. Yes, sir.
So just a suggestion, if there was some way to leave the next bag connected to the current bag and you pull it out, then you can get the next one and tear it off, set that aside. And so the monkey business, you can reduce even the monkey business that you just did.
Okay, I can see that. Yeah, see, once I take this bag out,
I don't know, a roller dispenser down.
this next one's right here waiting for me. So it is right here waiting for me. That's the whole concept, is that instead of having a roll of bags that you rip one off at a time, shake them open and stuff them in, it's a pack of bags. Kind of like when you go to the grocery store and the plastic bagger fills one up, he pulls it off, and the next bag's right there waiting for him. It's that same
So how
concept.
many are in that stack?
15 come in the pack. We've just secured manufacturing in India, and so we'll begin shipping in September. And the reason why we're doing an Indian manufacturer, it's a family friend, so it's actually going to be a women-owned business overseas as well, which is something that's really big over in that area. And we're actually paying them double what they are getting paid the base level is. So my hand-folded bags, 2 to the 20, 30 minutes it takes for each bag, where I'm cutting them off, refolding them, sealing them, perforating them, cutting the edges of them, sealing them back together. They come in 3 or 5 bag sample packs. So, and the other thing I wanted to say was that if you go on Kickstarter at fastestbag.com, I want to make sure everybody in here gets a card before you leave, so I'll be standing by the door. If you write million in the message, I will hand deliver you a sample within the next week or two, depending on how quick I can get them churned out, so you can show them off to your friends, your neighbors, even your enemies if you want. So, yes, sir.
Could you demonstrate it again for this side of the room? I think you were.
Yeah, sure. So, so this, because it's a 3-pack bag, I got my last bag on here. Well, all you're gonna do is there's a little slit.
Not as much as you can do with left hand.
I'll let you do it. So all you're gonna do is just gently pull right here. And fold it around the bag. See? And that wasn't planned, guys.
Right?
Even Sean can do it.
So there it is. And you can tell that it's opened all the way to the bottom. And this is actually a 10-gallon can, or actually only 5.5 gallons. So just the one I had in my apartment. So it's actually, the bags are actually significantly longer. You can see, but yeah, and what I'm looking to do is I'm trying to find places, ideas in the community, because I just moved to St. Pete 4 months ago to show the product off. Thank you. I was from Tampa, so I came from the dark side. Yes, sir.
I know you've got a lot of moving experience moving from Tampa to St. Pete, so, but the part we missed was the attachment of the bags to the backside of the waste basket. Yeah, I don't know if we saw that.
Yeah.
And do you have a patent?
We have, so this is why I want to do the Q&A, because you get all this good stuff coming on. So we have an issued patent on the hanging of the bag on the can, and we have a provisional patent on our fold, and the apparatus on, and we can even pass this around, but all you're doing is you're peeling this off to expose the tape, and you hang it in your can, and it just tapes right on there. So if you want to, check that out, and that's one of the sample packs. But that's how it sticks on there. And the reason what I did was to be extra safe. I put a piece of tape here just to make sure, demos what's going to go wrong goes wrong. So, yes, ma'am.
Great presentation skills, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah. What's the cost?
The cost.
That kind of size of push that.
Great question. So on our Kickstarter, you can donate for as little as $1, or each pack is, you get 1 pack for $4, or we call it the 10-pack for $31. So the what you're paying if you go and get Glad, your Stretch and your Scented, it's about 20 to 25 cents, and our bags are about 20 to 27 cents. So we're pretty much competitive with them, even with our small, volume we're putting out. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now I'm talking as a mother.
Yes.
How strong are those bags?
These are strong. So
No, I mean, like, if you you look with a lot of wet, sappy, smelly stuff, AKA diapers, are they gonna hold it?
They will hold it. You can play with this if you want, but it's 0.7 is a word. It's almost 1.5 times the industry's thickness. I noticed Starbucks, for example, uses 2 bags because of that same issue with, in their case, it's not a diaper, it's maybe a coffee, but like so we want to really have that high quality. So you only need 1 bag. 'Cause
Yeah.
what's the point of double bagging? It's 2015. We need to be a little bit more efficient than that. So yes, to answer your question, yes, there are certainly plenty of things.
Biodegradable?
They are, fortunately, to do recycled materials, I would have to tell her it was like $15 for a pack of bags. So we are initially launching with just the standard plastic. We want to have the recycled. I want to have one I can stick in my car when I need a trash bag, put on your boat, put in your garage, put one in your bathroom can. So, but what I'm here today is really to just kind of get involved with the community, see if there's anything I can do to help you out, you know what I mean, and show you the bags and see if you have someone that wants to check them out. So, yes, sir.
In the cars, is there like an option where I can just stick it to the back of my passenger seat and have it support the next bag so I can just toss my trash in the bag?
Yeah, that's actually the adhesive that we're using right now. We've done some tests on it, and the strength on it is pretty significant. We haven't tested the adhesion to like a leather or something, but essentially that would probably need to be a little bit of secure stickiness, but it can be done. I mean, with Gorilla Tape and all that stuff, you can probably stick meat to the ceiling if you want. Yes, sir.
Have you talked to any manufacturers of rubber products or people who might make trash cans to try to get them as a built-in option on?
That's a great suggestion. So we were initially looking at maybe going direct to consumer through direct response, and with them you have to hit a certain cost per minute, and it's a whole bunch of garbage bags. So we wanted to actually have a can too, so that way we could get a little higher cost per minute. And our original design was actually spikes. You would just staple spikes into the can, and then you would stick your bag on and then hang them over. And so you would have to either have the can manufacture that or you would put them on. So we went down that avenue a little bit, but we wanted to just kind of keep it simple. And we're focusing more on the plastic side, or the bag side, than the can. Like we're in talks with Clorox right now, who owns Glad. So we're negotiating with them, but I want to build the business a little bit more so we have a little bit more leverage before we start to have those conversations. So,
I'm sorry.
please.
The adhesive is kind of interesting to me. So you only need, is the adhesive, it has to be a delicate balance between removable and sticky enough to stay on there.
Yeah, that's a great question. So it leaves nothing on your can. It's what's used for when you go to the post office and they have those pre-labeled, not labeled, you have to put your own label, but the envelopes that are like ready to go and you open it, that's the same glue that we're using. So they've already kind of figured out a little bit of that happy medium of it's not being too, so you're having to take a knife and etch it off or whatever. Right. So we've started to find that balance. We're doing testing with because it's being shipped from India, we have to figure out when it's in the container, is the heat going to adjust the adhesive and all that stuff. So we're doing all that testing, and one of the team members works full-time for General Electric, and he does supply chain and mechanical engineering, and he's putting in his 2 weeks in mid-June to make sure that everything that gets here meets all those standards. So, yes, sir.
So a couple of questions.
Please.
How much are you looking for on Kickstarter to really get you going? And have you thought about, instead of handling all the manufacturing and all the headaches that go with that, having your patent in your hand and licensing to a big player like Glad or like Ziploc or whoever is manufacturing the bag, let them handle it, you collect the check, thank you, Chuck.
Go to the mailbox. Okay, so to answer the Kickstarter one first, so we're raising $20,000 on Kickstarter. We're about at $4,000 or so now, and that number is not directly tied to like capital needs and stuff. It's more tied to just getting some market validation, getting some pre-sales essentially, and just getting some just getting the product out there and kind of reiterating. And then to comment on the licensing thing, so like I said, we are in touch with Clorox, who owns Glad, and so, but to me, dealing with those guys now, they're going to hit you with a tiny little percentage, and they have the means to say, we won't even put this on the shelf, and you can get, whatever percentage of nothing. You know what I mean? And so there's a lot of, it's a very sharp world. So what we want to do is, if you go, I spent way too much time in Walmart and Publix lately, just looking at the garbage section. I doubt you guys do that, but like, there's nothing new there. You know, like they need, I mean, the stretching and all that stuff is great, but somebody needs something to stand out. So I want to build a business and have Hefty and Glad be put against each other and say, oh, they said that, oh, they said that. So I agree with you. Yeah, I think that's the long-term goal, but I think if we did that now, we'd be shooting ourselves in the foot a little bit. Yes, sir.
You talk about how you came up with the idea, and maybe it seems like someone would already thought about this. No offense, Eric. I think it's a great idea.
Sure. So being at FSU, it's people that are doing business things stand out, right? You know, if you're starting a business and you're out there handing out cards, you want to get to know that person. And so I met this gentleman who did 3D rendering for me for free. And he did all this for 3D printing for free. And he told me he was waiting to hear on a patent. And so I was like, oh, what's it for? He goes, oh, I can't tell you anything about it. And so long story short, he received the patent. And so I'm actually the business and the sales and the like kind of turning his idea into fruition, you know? And so the inventor is Patrick, who was unfortunately not able to come down here today. But he invented it by, he was working at a assembly line. And at first, actually, we both used to run lawn services where, you know, I don't know, you would shake the bag out and hang them on the back of your lawnmower so you didn't have to do it with your gloves. And then he started working for an assembly line where he would have to walk the other side of the warehouse to the closet to grab the bags, come all the way back over, and, you know, it was 10 minutes he was spending a day just going back and forth. So then he came up with the idea of hanging it over, and then when I got on board, we came up with the adhesive idea. Because like I mentioned, it was initially spikes that you would put the can on. And so then we started to iterate, and as a team, it's definitely a team effort. Like there's more than just me. You know, it's one of those things where I certainly cannot take credit for, you know, the business itself. I'm just here to spread the word and, you know, and try to get the word out there. So, yes, ma'am.
What does your packaging look like?
Our packaging is what we're working on right now. I am big on trying to incorporate something green here. Because you know you buy your bags now, they come in a cardboard box, you pull the roll out, and what do you do with that cardboard box? Nothing, you know, I mean, unless you have an idea, because I don't know what to do with that thing. So, so what I want to do is I want to have it to where the bags themselves are folded up. I don't know if anybody used to get Netflix DVDs in the mail. You know how they were in those little envelopes? So I want the packaging itself to be the bag with just a paper insert. So we're attempting to get rid of that cardboard, but you still have the necessary evil of what do you keep all the inserts in. So we're going down that avenue right now, but I'm hoping to try to really reduce the carbon footprint somehow. But if you know anybody that does packaging, I would love to hear from you. Yes, sir, Larry.
When you put garbage in, does the top collapse, or how does that?
No, it doesn't.
You have to tie it around the top.
That's a good question. So because the adhesive, I had my sample, it like comes like, you know, right here, and it kind of has, so you have a little excess bag here, so you have a little more room. Like it's kind of like, you know, the flaps, you see the flaps that are Selver now? We kind of take that a step further and give you a little extra 2 or 3 inches, so that way if it does shift a little bit, then you're good to go. And we also there's rubber bands you can buy that you just put around the top. We were giving those out at One Spark, where it's just, you know, a little pink rubber band or blue rubber band, you can put it around the edge so you don't have to worry about that at all. But I've been using them myself and I've never had a problem with them falling back in. Yes, sir.
Have you thought about the hotel market at all?
That's a good point. What we're trying to do is, there's so many applications with airports and malls and, you know, janitorial services and custodians that the hotel makes a lot of sense. It's just a matter of who's got the biggest pain point. You know, is it the hotel? Like what I've realized is the employees themselves aren't the customers, because if you're getting paid hourly, you want this to take a long time. You know what I mean? Like you want to take your sweet time and, you know, flip bags up and stuff. Yeah, so it's more of the people that are worried about paying their bills, you know? And so it would be good to do a test. I would be interested in finding a local, like a smaller hotel. I don't know if you know any hotels around here, but that is a good perspective to get some testing going with that. Yes, sir?
You thought everything through pretty well, as your presentation shows.
Thank you.
I'm looking at it and I think, wow, if I had a tie, like a full tie, and also the carry through the full, that would really be appealing to me, but I'm sure you thought about it, so where did that?
Yes, sir. So the drawstring, that's what you're getting to. So the the drawstring, we have proved the concept that you can do it with our apparatus. You would just have the string, would be a little short of the stickiness. But the extra, because we're the first shipment, we're manufacturing ourselves, like we literally bought the machines, we have the space, you know, we're doing it ourselves. We wanted to keep it as simple as possible to avoid kind of, you know, those issues of it not working, but scented, drawstring, stretch seal, all of that is certainly product iterations, like I mentioned, the boating and all that stuff. We want to, you know, we want to be a company, not a product. So I love the drawstrings myself, so they'll be in there. Trust me. Hang tight. Yes, ma'am.
Well, two things I want to say. Packaging is a big issue for me. I'm an environmental consultant, and I think we over-package. But the other thing is that it's the ease of shipment. There's a reason why things are shipped in cardboard, rectangles, square boxes, because they pack easy. So as much as you want to go green, I would just caution you not to break your head or blow too many brain cells in trying to do that.
That's a good point.
Okay, I mean, we all want to reduce our waste. And the second thing is that I'm about to launch a Kickstarter campaign, and I want everybody in this room to put their money where their mouth is, and put their heart in this, and give me a card, because I will contribute before the end of the day.
Thank you so much. That fires me up. So that means a lot to me. Thank you very much. Yes, sir.
So I don't know what you plan on doing with the $50,000, and unfortunately my information is like 2 years old. But there are lots of companies out there that do private labels for larger corporations. They always have excess capacity. And even as, well, 2 years ago, I know that there were at least 7 or 8 bagging companies that had excess capacity. And that you can probably, even without the patent, work with them to build the product, to make it, to package, to do everything as part of some deal, and it would cost you some of that $50,000. But I can almost, well, I would be very confident if you could find somebody with a bagging facility with excess capacity that would work with you to put that thing together.
That's a great perspective. I haven't ever thought of someone that's already manufacturing. I thought of the licensing, like the complete, you know, the all or none, but never like kind of on the side a little bit. That's something I'm going to bring up with the team.
Bagging manufacturers, and I know there's at least 30 of them in the works.
Cool. I appreciate that suggestion. Well, I'll certainly look into that. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Excuse me. On that manufacturing process, so each bag, each collection of 5 bags, is it that takes you 20 minutes, or is it each one?
Each individual bag takes me about 20 minutes to hand make. Okay. The manufacturing will be able to turn out 50 to 70,000 a month easily. Yeah, it's
still a long way from $1 million if you're.
Oh, as far as that's for one machine does that. So it's just, you know, as the economies of scale bigger, it's just going to continue to get lower. But yeah, this is obviously not scalable at all of the hand folding. But you know, it's just one of those things where the product is. If I try to describe it to you, you'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool, and you go home. But I guarantee everybody in this room, the next time you go change the trash, you'll think of us. So you know, once you see it, it just kind of really drills in. So, yes, sir.
So, how are you marketing right now? Can you hear already?
Our marketing plan is focused in the short term on Kickstarter. So we're going after mommy blogs. We have some press releases. We've been featured on probably a half dozen different news sources. We have about 10 to 15 mommy blog giveaways. We're starting to target some startup blogs and some of the other startup people. And I'm a big relationship people. I like to just get to know people. So I'm making these and sending them out to some influencers and people like yourself. So that's kind of the short-term marketing plan. And ideally, what we want to do is, you know, really continue to push that through Kickstarter, and then use that as the guidance to see if we go down the licensing avenue at that point, or if we continue to build a business or switch to commercial, etc. So I don't know if that answers your question. Yes, sir.
I haven't really heard anything about revenues or profits. What kind of volume do you need to get profitable?
That's a good question. So as far as the financials, we've done some projections on like how many, because we're dealing with, you know, 1 or 2 machines, it's the profitability is about a year to 2 years away. The exact numbers, I don't really want to, you know, feel comfortable saying like right now exactly how much we need, you know, but it's a good amount that is sustainable in a local community, you know, in like Florida alone, like we could really be profitable with, you know, X number of businesses. I mean, I know I'm kind of not really answering your question, but basically it's feasible, especially with the success we've gotten from One Spark, winning that competition and the revenue from that. it's definitely looking to be about 12 to 24 months before we're profitable. So maybe I'll tell you more about that later. Yes, sir.
So, taking on his question, can you at least talk about margins for your products, or what's your cost of production if you go with manufacturing? What was it going to be your wholesale, or what's it going to be your retail on a pack?
Again, I don't really want to get into the exact numbers because they're kind of irrelevant, because as every, and the reason why I say they're relevant at this exact moment in time is because with every scalability, the number changes. So the number that I tell you right now is for the absolute smallest number. So it's, it's not anything to get, super excited about, but it's competing with somebody like Glad or Hefty or, she asked me how much they were. Everybody wants to know how much they are. So we're purposely keeping our margins relatively small because we know as the economies of scale get bigger, we'll be able to, we're a high volume, low margin company, and we know that, so. Yes, sir.
So how can we help you grow this business? I had an idea.
Okay, you can help me grow the business by just coming up and talking with me, telling me about any ideas you have of who I should talk to, who I should show it to. I'm trying to think of ideas of events and different scenarios like this to demo the bag, different block parties, community events, etc. And just connections with people that, are dealing with a lot of garbage bags. So, and support my Kickstarter, fastestbag.com, like she said, put your money where it's at. I'm gonna hand everybody a card, and it'll take you right to the Kickstarter. So, but I want to hear your idea though. You said you had an idea. You said I might have an idea. Okay, maybe not.
I think he thought your Kickstarter campaign.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
How we could help you.
I thought you had a gym back there.
I have no idea.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming. Welcome to St. Pete. Great decision.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you guys all for coming. As Maria mentioned, we're always looking for new presenters. Unfortunately, we had a bit of a situation where we lost all of that data. So we are looking for brand new presenters. Please contact one of us. Let us know if you or somebody you know has a dynamic, scalable product that they'd like to grow in this community. We'd love to check them out here. Otherwise, there's some coffee left. Make sure you grab yourself some coffee on the way out. We will see you next week. Bring your friends, bring your enemies.